Don't sit at a place where you have too many distractions at home. Sit at a place where there are no distractions so that you're able to concentrate and have a clear view of the concepts being taken up. We have started with the accounting treatments to be done at the time of admission, and we have done a few many. We have learned how to calculate the new profit sharing ratio and sacrificing ratio, then accounting for goodwill, reserves, revaluation. We have also started with the preparation of revaluation account. Yes, children, here I would like to add on a few things. Goodwill, just to remember which item is being distributed in which profit sharing ratio. Goodwill is always premium brought by the new partner is distributed in sacrificing ratio. And all the reserves, accumulated profit and losses are distributed in old profit sharing ratio. And revaluation of assets and liabilities, profit or loss on account of revaluation is also distributed in old profit sharing ratio. Then your question might be, then why are we calculating the new profit sharing ratio? New profit sharing ratio is helpful in capital adjustment. And this is the ratio in which the new firm will be sharing the profit. Suppose after 1 year, the profits of the firm will be distributed in new profit sharing ratio. But at the time of admission, it will be helpful in capital adjustment. Fine. We have learned how to prepare revaluation account. Just a quick recap: all the profits to be recorded on the credit side, and all the losses to be recorded on the debit side. Fine. And the profits and losses are on account of revaluation are distributed amongst the partners in old profit sharing ratio. They are distributed in old profit sharing ratio. Yes, this was the last adjustment we were discussing. We are given debtors of rupees 1 lakh and provision for doubtful debts 20,000. I hope you have gone through the assignment that I sent to you, where all the adjustments were given. Fine. So bad debts are 15,000 and provision is to be maintained at 10%. Earlier we took bad debt separately and provision separately. Now I'm going to combine these two. Bad debts are 15,000 and provision is to be maintained at 10%. Yes, what will be the first journal entry? This is the case that we discussed earlier. Yes, bad debts were 15,000. So my first journal entry will be bad debts to debtors. Then I'm going to write off these bad debts from provision for doubtful debts as I have sufficient provision with me. Fine. So I'm going to write off this from provision for doubtful debts. After writing off, my debtors will appear in the new balance sheet at 85,000 and my provision with me, provision left with me is 5,000. But how much provision do I require? 10%. And provision is always created on gross debtors. That means I'm going to create provision 10% on 85,000. Fine. So I require provision of 8,500 and out of this I have 5,000 with me. That means I require provision of 3,500 which will be created from revaluation account. Revaluation account debited to provision for doubtful debts. So in the new balance sheet, your debtors will appear at 85,000 minus 8,500. So the next case, debtors are same. The information given is same. Bad debts were 15,000. Now I have added provision for discount on debtors also. You have to recall the class 11 concept. Debt provision for doubtful debts is created on gross debtors, but provision for discount on debtors is created on net debtors. That is debtors minus provision for doubtful debts. If I have to create provision for discount on this information, I'll create provision for discount on 80,000, not 1 lakh. But provision for doubtful debts will be created on 1 lakh. Fine. It will be created on gross debtors. Provision for discount will be created on net debtors. Yes, first entry will remain the same, bad debts to debtors, and then I'll write off bad debts from provision for doubtful debts. Fine. Now my question to you is, what will be the amount of provision that is required in the new balance sheet, and what is the amount of provision for discount that is required in the new balance sheet? Calculate it and then tell me the answer. We have discussed the calculation of provision for doubtful debts. I want you to calculate provision for doubtful debts as well as provision for discount on debtors. Calculate it, how much it is required, and then we will see how it will be created in the new balance sheet. Yes, you're taking time to calculate, children. It's very easy. Calculations are not that difficult. Only the provision part is a bit. Yes, how much provision for discount? I want you to calculate provision for discount as well. I'm getting the answer for provision for doubtful debts, but not provision for discount. So that if there is any mistake, your provision for discount, provision for doubtful debts is correct. Provision for discount, so that you know your mistake, where you are committing the mistake. You are calculating 2% on what amount? Someone has sent me 7650. No, it's not 7650. It's not 1600 as well. No. Yes, got the right answer also from, I think Ishika has sent the right answer. No, 1700 is also not correct. Let's see now. I wanted you to calculate, yes, getting the right answer as well. But I wanted you to calculate so that you also, you know the difference where you are committing the mistake. Fine. My debtors will now appear in the balance sheet at 85,000. So how much provision do I require? I require 10% of 85. My gross debtors are 85,000. So I require provision of 10% on 85,000. That comes out to 8,500. And out of this 8,500, I already have 5,000 with me. That means I require to create provision for doubtful debts only 3,500. Fine. But the point is, how much amount do I need to create for provision for discount? It will be on 85,000 minus 8,500. My bad debts are 8,500. My provision for doubtful debts is 8,500. So I need to calculate on 85,000 minus 8,500. That comes out to 76500. So it is 2% of 76500. Both the items I'm going to create from revaluation account, as both are charges. Fine. So I'm going to create provision for doubtful debts also from revaluation account, and provision for discount on debtors also on revaluation account. Amount of provision for doubtful debts. This is the correct answer I was getting. I had 5,000 with me. I only require 3,500 more. So I have created this. But provision for discount on debtors is 85,000 minus 8,500. That is 2% on 76,500. 76,500. So this comes out to 1530. This comes out to be 1530. So the total amount that I'm going to charge to revaluation account on account of provision for doubtful debts and provision for discount on debtors is 1530. 1530 plus, that is 5030. This will be 5,030. So there are three things that you have to remember while doing any adjustment of bad debts, provision, any adjustment related to debtor is given. First thing, amount of bad debts is to be deducted from debtors. Fine, because of the first journal entry. Second thing you're going to do is provision will always be calculated on gross debtors. Fine, and then compare it with the old provision and see how much new provision is required. And the third thing, provision for discount on debtors will be calculated on net debtors, not on gross debtors. If you're going to do this way, you're not going to commit any mistake. But if you're going to straight away charge provision and then provision for discount, you might commit some mistakes in the calculations. Again, the same information is same. Yes. This is given that one debtor, Mr. Mohan, he is bad to the full extent. That means that has been declared bad debts. And then 20,000 from Sham, who was declared insolvent, and 50% only could be realized from his estate. Now, this is my estimation. First debtor has proved bad, but the second one has been declared insolvent. He has not refused me any payment. I am only estimating that 50% of it could be realized from his estate. So this is my bad debts given, but this 50% of 20,000 is this is the provision that I required to create. In case he doesn't pay me 50% or more than 50% or less than 50%, so I am estimating that I'm going to get 50% of the payment. So I am creating provision for the balance 50%. So this provision is not given to you in the percentage form that we have discussed earlier. It is given to you in an indirect way, that this debtor has been declared insolvent and 50% could be realized from his estate. Now this is my estimate. How much I'm going to get actually is not sure. This will only happen when his estate is being sold, when his property is being sold and the amount is being paid to me. Fine. Until then, we cannot declare him insolvent. We cannot take him to bad debts. So we are going to create provision for this. So my first journal entry, bad debts to debtors, same. Then I'm going to charge bad debts from provision for doubtful debts. Fine. So how much provision is left with me? Out of this 20,000, 15,000 has been utilized. So I'm left with 5,000. How much provision do I require to create for this debtor Sham? How much provision do I require to create for this debtor Sham? Yes, any guesses? How much provision do I require? Yes, correct. Very correct. So that shows that this adjustment of debtors and bad debts is clear to many. Those who are answering, it's clear to them. Fine. I require 50% of 20,000. I require a provision of 10,000, but I only have 5,000 left with me. So I require 5,000 provision more that will be created from revaluation account. That will be created from revaluation account. Fine. So you have to analyze each and every adjustment given carefully. Again, repeating, this debtor adjustment will definitely be there in the revaluation account, whether you are given revaluation account in the question of admission, retirement, or change in PSR. One adjustment out of 4 adjustments, one adjustment will definitely be of debtors. Let's quickly take the other ones. This is simple. Provision for doubtful debts was found in excess of rupees 5,000. You tell me the answer quickly. Yes, what is to be done with the provision found in excess? Yes, what is to be done with the provision found in excess? I found that my provision is, I have discussed a similar type of adjustment in the last class. I've only changed the language. Yes. If my provision is more, what I'm going to do? I'm going to write it back. I'm going to decrease the provision. And when decrease in liability is to be debited, provisions have a credit balance. And decrease has to be debited. And what will be credited? Revaluation account. Got the correct answers? Yes, children. That means the concept is clear. Provision for doubtful debts to revaluation account. Provision for doubtful debts to revaluation account 5,000. So that means is there any change in the amount of debtors in the new balance sheet? Has this adjustment changed the amount of debtors in the new balance sheet? Just think of it. Yes, there's no change in the amount of debtors in the new balance sheet. It will be only the amount of provision that will change. My provision will come at 15,000. Now, children, this has to be seen carefully. This has to be seen carefully. Now, till then, I have been showing you these reserves in the balance sheet, but these reserves were being distributed amongst the partners in old profit sharing ratio. Fine. Now, till now, we have been discussing that the general reserves or free reserves are to be distributed as it is amongst the old partners in their old profit sharing ratio. But now, general reserves can be utilized for any purpose. So, if the partners decide that these reserves, a portion of these reserves have to be kept as provision for doubtful debts, then the balance amount will be distributed amongst the partners in old profit sharing ratio. So here the partners have used 20% of the reserves as provision. Fine. So in this case, my entry will be reserves account debited 20% of 15,000. It will be 3,000. So I'm transferring 3,000 to provision, and the balance 12,000 will be distributed amongst the old partners in old profit sharing ratio. Now, my question to you is, at which amount the debtors will appear in the new balance sheet, and what will be the amount of provision for doubtful debts? What will be the amount of debtors and what will be the amount of provision for doubtful debts in the new balance sheet? Yes, correct answer. Chaitanya, correct answer. Anyone else? Yes. The amount of debtors, you're guessing right. I want the answer for provision for doubtful debts. What will be the amount of provision for doubtful debts? Rahul, correct answer. Chaitanya, correct. Correct answers, yes. Fine. So, getting the correct answer, children, I'll acknowledge your answers later on. Getting many correct answers. My debtors will appear at 1 lakh and provision will appear at 23,000. I have increased the provision, but this increase has not been made from revaluation account. This increase has been made from reserves that were lying with the firm. Yes, debtors, again, now my adjustment says that all debtors are good. Now my adjustment says all debtors are good. So what does that mean? If I say my all debtors are good, that means I do not require this provision. If my all debtors have promised me that they will pay in time, or I know about their solvency position, they are quite solvent, they are going to pay me in time, so I don't require provision for doubtful debts. That means if my all debtors are good, I'm going to write back the provision, and writing back the provision means provision for doubtful debts. I'm passing this entry, provision for doubtful debts account debited to revaluation account. Fine. So debtors will appear at 1 lakh in the new balance sheet, and there will be no provision in the new balance sheet. There will be no provision in the new balance sheet. No provision is required now. Now I want you to analyze this. Z, an old customer whose account has been written off, paid 2,500 in full settlement of his dues of 4,000. What will be the journal entry for this amount received? What will be the journal entry for this amount received? This you have learned in class 12. I should get the correct answer for this, children. One debtor who has been written off, yes. Class 11 concept is right. Yes, getting the right answers. Cash account debited to bad debts recovered. And amount will be fine, 2,500. But we are not going to open any new account at the time of reconstitution. Whatever amount is being received will be credited to revaluation account. Since the books of accounts have been closed, so we are not going to open a new account, bad debts recovered account. So we are going to pass the entry bank account debited to revaluation account. Now, children, is it going to affect my debtors account? This entry or this adjustment, is it going to affect my debtors account, or is it going to affect the balance of debtors in the new balance sheet? No, it is not going. Yes, very correct. The answers I got was very correct. This entry has no debtors account. This is on account of bad debts which have been written off. This 4,000 is given just to confuse you. This 4,000 minus 2,500 is not my loss or debtors. Some children related to loss on account of revaluation account. No, this is not my loss. This 2,500 is my gain, which has been credited to revaluation account. So my entry is bank account to revaluation account, and debtor account is not in picture in this journal entry. So my debtors will remain at 45,000. Now I'm taking two more adjustments of bill of exchange. Suppose you are given a bill of exchange of 20,000, and there is one adjustment that bill of exchange of 5,000 received from Chaman was under discount. And the second adjustment, I'm giving you both of them simultaneously so that you understand the difference. Second adjustment says that bill of exchange of 5,000 received from Chaman was under discount and it's dishonored. Fine. So what will be the journal entry for first adjustment? This has already been discounted. You have to recall the concept of bills of exchange here. I received one BR from Chaman, which was under discount. That means it had already been discounted with the bank. So, do I need to pass any journal entry at the time of reconstitution for this bill of exchange already discounted with the bank? Do I need to pass any journal entry? Seems that you have got confused in this. Getting difficult to recall the concept of bills of exchange, I think. Yes, children, this bill of exchange has already been discounted with the bank, so I need not pass any entry for this. Fine. This is my this is already not existing in this. This bill is not existing in this amount. This has already been discounted, so no entry will be passed for this. But if this bill discounted has been dishonored, it has been intimated to me by the bank on the date of reconstitution that this bill has been dishonored, then I need to pass the entry. I need to pass the entry, Chaman, who is my debtor. Fine. So debtor, in other words, you can say we used to debit our DROI. Then who is the DROI here? My debtor is my DROI. I'm taking debtor here because I will have to increase the amount of my debtors by this much amount, by 5,000. Fine. So journal entry that I'm passing for the dishonor of the bill of exchange discounted with the bank is debtor account debited to bank account. I will reduce my bank account by 5,000 and I will increase my debtors by 5,000. And if I have been asked to calculate any provision, that will be on the increased amount of debtors. Fine. So since we have forgotten the concept of, yes, someone is saying it's not clear. Yes, bill of exchange, if a BR has been discounted with the bank, what journal entry do you pass? Bank account debited, discounting charges debited to BR. So this has already been done. It was 7, it was under discount. That has already been discounted with the bank. Fine. So I am not required to pass any entry for the first adjustment. Fine. Was under discount means that has already been discounted with the bank. But the second adjustment says that it was discounted and then it was dishonored. On the date of reconstitution, it was intimated that the bill has been dishonored. So what will be the journal entry for dishonor of bill? Journal entry for dishonor of the bill will be, try to recall, when my BR dishonors, my debtor becomes my debtor again, my DROI becomes my debtor again, and I have to pay the amount to the bank. Whatever bill I have got it discounted with the bank, I have to pay in case that bill dishonored, then I have to repay the amount to the bank, which I will recover from my debtor. So I am passing the entry DROI, who is my debtor here, debtor account debited to bank account. There is no role of revaluation here. This is just, you can open class 11th book and see the dishonor entries for bill of exchange discounted with the bank. Your entry was DROI account debited to bank. Instead of DROI, I have written only debtor account because we have to increase the amount of debtors by this much amount. I hope it's clear. So children, we are through with all the accounting treatments that are required to be made at the time of admission. And this is the summary that I have prepared. You can get a 1-marker question from this chapter for the calculation of new profit sharing ratio and sacrificing ratio. That is always there in the paper. Fine. You can be asked the journal entry for Workmen compensation reserve, IFR, general reserve, accumulated profits and losses. We have discussed all the journal entries for WCR, reserve, accumulated profits, IFR. So you can be asked any one journal entry in a one marker question. Or you can also be asked any one journal entry. I can give you the asset is 5 lakh. It has to be increased to 5,50,000. Give me the journal entry for this. Fine. To just check your concept, how good your concepts are in journal entries. This one journal entry can also be asked. Then theory of goodwill is very important from one marker point of view. You can be asked the nature of the goodwill or factors affecting the valuation of goodwill, difference between any average profit method and super profit method. Fine. So the theory of the chapter can also be covered in a one marker question. And then 3 markers. From the point of 3 markers, we have to see the journal entries for the accounting treatment of goodwill. Fine, we can be given the old profit sharing ratio and the new profit sharing ratio and the premium for goodwill brought by the new partner, and we can be asked the journal entries for the same. Then journal entries for reserves. There might be a possibility you are given 2-3 reserves. Fine, in a 3 marker question you are given WCR also, general reserve or some accumulate loss also, and you are being asked the journal entries for the same. Then there can be a question of valuation of goodwill by any of the methods, by capitalization, super profit, or any of the method. You can be asked the valuation. Then this is very important. You can be asked to value the goodwill by hidden goodwill method. We have covered this also. And then ask the journal entries as well. Calculation and journal entries for hidden goodwill. Then capital adjustment we have not done, but there can be a 3 marker question on journal entries of capital adjustment. This will be covering at the last. This will be the last topic we'll be covering in this chapter. Fine. Then 8 marker question. This I have marked it very important. This is definitely going to be there in your paper. 1 8 marker from the chapter admission is there with a choice from other chapters. It can be retirement, it can be fundamentals, it can be dissolution, but admission question is always there. Fine. This can be preparation of revaluation account, partners capital account, and new balance sheet. This I'll be taking one question after this. Fine. But children, we have to practice preparation of revaluation account, partners capital account, and new balance sheet, as well as journal entries. At times, in an 8 marker question or in a 6 marker question, we are asked the journal entries, not the account. And children find it very difficult they have practiced the preparation of account so much that they find it difficult to pass the entries during the exam, and it becomes a time consuming process for them as they first prepare the account and then pass the journal entries. So my request to you is that do practice journal entries as well. Whenever you are practicing these 8 markers question, practice journal entries as well. Fine. And this question can be with or without capital adjustment. If it is without capital adjustment, then the chances are that it is a 6 marker question. Fine. So let us start with this question: preparation of revaluation account. All the accounting treatments that we have discussed till date will be utilized in this concept, and they have been covered under 1 marker and 3 marker question. I'd like you to give you, I've already sent you the questions. Question number 59. I'd like you to give it a reading first. Simple question where I've been asked to prepare revaluation account, partners capital account, and balance sheet. You have been asked the journal entries as well, but in paper you will be asked one thing, either the journal entries or the preparation of account. So children, first thing, whenever you read a question, you're reading you are given the balance sheet first. Fine. in the balance sheet, first mark if there are any reserves, accumulated profits or losses, because children forget to distribute these reserves. You people know that reserves and accumulated profit and losses are to be distributed, but they forget to distribute the reserves. Fine. In this question, we don't have any reserve, any accumulated losses or any goodwill in the balance sheet. Fine. So we don't have to mark anything. Now, I hope you all are having book or the PDF of the question that I've already sent to you. Now, C was to bring 75,000 as his capital and 3,000 as goodwill for 1/4 share in the firm. Value of the stock and plant and machinery were to be reduced by 5%. So, reduction in the value of plant and stock and machinery is to be recorded on which side of revaluation account? Reduction in the value of stock and plant and machinery is to be recorded on which side of? The question is saying value of the stock and plant and machinery is to be recorded yes children, decrease in the value of the assets is to be recorded on the debit side or credit side. Yes, it has to be recorded on the debit side. So stock is to be reduced by 5% and 5% of 10,000 is 500. 5% of 10,000 is 500 and the value of machinery is also to be reduced by 5%. So this also comes out to be 5% of 17,500. So this comes out to 875. Now my next adjustment says provision for doubtful debts was to be created in respect of debtors rupees 375. So you are straight away given the amount of provision required. So where will this provision be required? My journal entry for creating provision is revaluation account debited to provision for doubtful debts. So this is also going to be recorded on the debit side. Provision for doubtful debts. An amount is given, so I need not calculate the amount. Now my next adjustment is building was to be appreciated by 10%. Building was to be appreciated by 10%. Where I'm going to record this and what will be the amount of building appreciated? Yes, correct. Yes, very correct. Correct answers. Increase in the value of the building will be recorded on the credit side. So building account and it will be 10% of 25,000. This comes out to 2,500. Fine. So there is no other adjustment regarding revaluation account in the question. So what I'll do after making all these entries, I'll find out the profit or loss on account of revaluation and distribute it amongst. Yes, revaluation account profit is distributed amongst. Yes, old partners in old profit sharing ratio. So as I can see, my credit side total is more 2,500. Fine. My credit side total is more. So there is a profit and this profit is 750, which I have distributed amongst A and B in their old profit sharing ratio. It is given in the question. Old profit sharing ratio is 2:1. It's given at the starting of the question, balance sheet of A and B who were sharing profits in the ratio of 2:1. So I have distributed the profit of 750 amongst A and B. So this comes out to be 2,500. Fine. So whatever adjustments that we have discussed so far, we have applied that in this preparation of revaluation account and have distributed my credit side. My gains are more than the losses on account of revaluation account. So I have a net gain of 750, which is distributed amongst the partners. So my next step will be preparation of preparation of capital accounts. Now, children, I'll not be maintaining all the capital accounts separately. In the same format, we will prepare 3 columns for the amount. Earlier in class 11th, we were making only 1. Fine. So we have prepared 3 columns for the amount, 1 for each partner. First of all, I have transferred balance brought down. This is given in the balance sheet. This you can note down from the balance sheet. You are given 15,000 and 10,000. Fine. Now, after you have transferred the balance brought down, first see if there are any reserves to be distributed. In this case, there are no reserves to be distributed. Fine. And the second step is transfer the revaluation account profit or loss to partner's capital account. Now the profit, there was a profit in the revaluation account. Profit will be transferred, always transferred to, yes, credit side of revaluation account or debit side of revaluation account. Think of the journal entry and then decide. Yes, this will be transferred to, I have taken premium for goodwill first. I'll explain it in a while. Revaluation account profit has been transferred to partner's capital account, and then premium for goodwill brought by the new partner. It was 3,000 he has brought as premium for goodwill, and this has been distributed. Premium for goodwill is distributed amongst the old partners or the sacrificing partners in their sacrificing ratio. And here my sacrificing ratio is same as old ratio. This is my first case where I'm given old profit sharing ratio and new partners share. Here we assume that old profit sharing ratio is my sacrificing ratio. So I have distributed this premium for goodwill in sacrificing ratio, that is 2:1. I have transferred the revaluation account profit. Fine. So there is no other adjustment to be done in the partner's capital account in this question. So we will find out the balance. There is a cash brought by the new partner, that is 7,500. This is given. Now I will find out the balance carried down. I have done the totaling of the credit side, and my balance carried down is 17,500, 11,250, and 7,500. Now my next step will be preparation of balance sheet. So balance sheet, we will post each and every asset given in the balance sheet, but with assets where we have given the adjustments, we have to post the new value. First asset given is building. Building has been appreciated by 10%. So I will post the new value, that is 25,000 plus 2,500. So this comes out to 27,500. I have appreciated the value of building by 10%. So increased value will appear in the new balance sheet. Plant and machinery has been increased by 5%. So it has been reduced by 5%. So my new value of plant and machinery will be 16,625. Similarly, stock has also been reduced by 5%. It will be 9,500. Debtors, there was no provision earlier. Now there is a provision of 375. This I will show as a deduction from debtors. So my debtors will appear at 4475. Now cash in hand has to be posted very carefully. Either you can prepare a cash account or you can show these additions in the balance sheet itself. There is an increase in the cash balance on account of capital and premium for goodwill brought by the new partner. 7,500 was the capital and 3,000 was the premium for goodwill. So cash in hand with the new firm is 11,100. See children, I have posted each an item in the given sequence only so that I don't forget to post any asset or liability. So A is capital account. This I have taken from the capital accounts only. B, C's, and then creditors, and then I have done the totaling. Yes, that's all for today. Fine. Prepare well for NPO test that is on 18th. And we will keep doing these questions in the next classes.